This entire Chris Brown situation that we're going to be talking about in this video kind of leaves me speechless. It's confusing to me that someone can do the things that it's been proven that he did and just get away with it. I knew some of what Chris Brown did, but I didn't know everything that he did and everything that he's been accused of. And maybe you don't either, so I'm going to tell you guys all of that in today's video and let you form your own conclusion on what you think about Chris Brown. Should he still be having concerts? Should he still be having albums come out? Should he still be being played on the radio? You guys are gonna have to let me know what you think down below after you watch this video. He was born Christopher Maurice Brown on May 5th, 1989, making him a Taurus and 32 years old as of when I'm making this video. He was born in Tappahannock, Virginia, to his parents Clinton Brown and Joyce Hawkins. His mom was a former daycare center director and his dad was a corrections officer at a local prison. He has one sister by the name of Latrell Bundy. His parents would end up getting a divorce, which would lead his mom to find a new man, which would end up being Chris Brown's stepdad. From a very young age, Chris Brown was very involved with music and he was incredibly talented. He loved to sing, he loved to dance, he was even a part of his church's choir. One of his greatest inspirations was Michael Jackson, and he also went on to perform for a lot of talent shows. His mother was super supportive of him wanting to be a part of the music industry and of all of his talents. She decided that she was going to look for him a record deal. During this time, there was a lot of things that was going on behind the scenes in the home. His stepdad was a very mean man and he witnessed a lot of the things that his stepdad did to his mom, and it was incredibly traumatic for him. From the ages of 7 to 13, Chris Brown would go on to witness his mom being hurt by his stepdad, and a lot of them he saw and he heard. I mentioned the importance of a child's developmental years a lot on this channel, and this situation with Chris Brown is really no different. Experiencing something like that when you're that age, it does something to your brain. Child is just learning how to be a human, and then they see things like that happen and it can completely change the entire course of their life. During an interview on the Tyra Banks show, Chris Brown talked about how witnessing what his mom went through taught him how to treat a woman. He didn't want another woman to go through what he witnessed his mom going through.
And how did it affect you?
It affected me, you know what I'm saying? Basically, especially towards women, I treat them differently because I don't want to go through the same thing or put a woman through the same thing that person put my mom through.
He went on to talk about how witnessing those things with his mom really changed him and shared stories of things that happened to him when he was a child because of him witnessing it. Watching his stepdad do what he did to his mom was something that caused him to have really dark thoughts. In a 2007 interview with Giant magazine, Chris Brown shared how at just 11 years old, he vowed to himself that he was going to end his stepfather's life. You can only imagine the types of things that he was seeing in that house if that's what he was thinking at 11. At the age of 13, he was discovered by Hit Mission Records, a local production team that visited his father's gas station while searching for new talent. But he continued to go to Essex High School in Virginia until 2004, when he left to pursue his dreams, which would come true when he signed with Jive. In February of 2005, Chris began recording his self-titled debut album, and by May he had 50 songs. The entire album would be broken down to 14 tracks, took only 8 weeks to produce, and then when it was released as a self-titled album on November 29th, 2005, it debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with the first week of sales of 154,000 copies. Rihanna was born Robin Rihanna Fenty on February 20th, 1988, making her a Pisces and 33 years old today. She was born in St. Michael and raised in Bridgetown, Barbados by her parents Monica and Ronald Fenty. Her mother was an accountant and her father was a warehouse supervisor, but he also struggled with addiction. Unfortunately, addiction wasn't the darkest part of Rihanna's father. Similarly to Chris and what he had experienced as a child, Rihanna Rihanna experienced similar things to that with her dad and her mom. Rihanna would often get in between them to try and break up the fights, and one time she even threw a glass bottle, breaking it, hoping that it would distract them from what they were doing long enough to make them stop. Now, her mom was very secretive about this, so at one point it resulted in a broken nose, but she refused to go to the hospital to get help because she didn't want anybody to know what Rihanna's dad was doing to her. Eventually, when Rihanna was 14 years old, her parents finally got a divorce. Rihanna today is not only a successful singer, but she's also an actress, a fashion designer, and an overall powerful and unstoppable businesswoman. She's admired by many people for all of her talents, from her unique singing voice to her highly successful lingerie line, and even a cosmetic line called Fenty Beauty. But during her climb to the top of her success, she met Chris Brown in 2005. They were seen together a lot, being rumored to be a couple, but it wouldn't be confirmed until 3 years later in 2008. From the outside, things between the two of them looked great. They looked amazing together. They would get photographed everywhere they went. They would not only be seen together out and about, but they would also work together. They would make music together. They would perform together. What people were seeing from the outside was not anything like what was going on behind closed doors. It was the day of the 2009 Grammys when Rihanna and Chris Brown were actually supposed to perform together, but they ended up canceling their performance. At the time, nobody knew why this was happening because it was so sudden that they were just not gonna be there. People were speculating, but nobody came up with anything that was as dark as what had actually happened that night. It was the night before the Grammys, and Chris Brown and Rihanna had left the pre-Grammy party in Chris Brown's Lamborghini. When they left, Rihanna had saw a text message on his phone from another girl. She started yelling and getting really upset, thinking that he was cheating on her. Now, the fight completely escalated and went to a place that it did not need to go. It would later come out that Rihanna and Chris Brown had had a mutually abusive relationship in the sense that they both had been physical with each other. Chris had previously cheated on Rihanna, and after that, she was never able to trust him. After that had happened, Chris Brown said that everything went downhill because there were too many verbal fights and physical fights on both sides. Rihanna said that that night she had caught him in a lie and he wasn't telling the truth. She said that she couldn't take that he kept lying to her, and he couldn't take that she wouldn't drop it. Chris Brown said that she started going off and that she threw her phone, that she screamed, "I hate you," and that she started hitting him. He was describing Rihanna as being the instigator and saying that she tried to kick him, and that's when he started hitting her. When she spit blood in his face, it made him even madder. And we've all seen the photo of what happened to Rihanna. Rihanna's face was barely recognizable. Now, the extent of what he had actually done to her that night was so much more horrific once I had actually read the police report. Rihanna was legitimately terrified that he was going to end her life. He threatened her that he was going to, and he wasn't stopping what he was doing. She expressed that when he did this, that he just completely left the building, that when she looked in his face, she didn't see Chris anymore. Chris Brown was arrested and eventually charged with felony battery, and when the pair went to court in the middle of 2009, he pled guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 5 years of probation, as well as community service and domestic violence counseling. And Rihanna also filed a restraining order against him, and he was not allowed within 50 yards of her. Fans would end up being really surprised in 2012 when she ended up forgiving him and they got back together, and it wasn't what anybody had expected. She came out and said that she forgave him and that their relationship was in a much better place than where it was at the time, but it didn't last and they ended up splitting in 2013. 2 years after he was charged, he was asked by Robin Roberts on Good Morning America about the case.
Definitely this album is what I want them to talk about, and not the kind of stuff that happened 2 years ago.
After the interview, Brown performed as scheduled, but he stormed off stage when he was done performing. ABC reports that the show's hair and makeup staff called security because they heard loud noises coming from Brown's dressing room. A window in Brown's dressing room was smashed, and that caused shattered glass to fall onto the street below in Times Square. Brown then reportedly blew off his next scheduled performance at ABC, ripped off his shirt, and left the building.
Chris Brown had tweeted, "I'm so over people bringing this past shit up, yet we praised Charlie Sheen and other celebs for their bullshit." Chris Brown would go on to eventually say that he was really upset at this being brought up because he had made a lot of changes in his life and he wanted to move on from this, but other people argue that he claimed that he changed, but he was still having outbursts and was literally having a violent outburst just by being asked a question. Then in February of 2012, a woman took a photo of him. He stole the woman's phone through his car window and he was charged with robbery. Then in 2013, he was accused of badly injuring a 24-year-old woman inside of an Orange County nightclub. When the club was about to close, Chris allegedly shoved her so hard to the ground that she had torn ligaments in her right knee and that she needed surgery. She filed a police report for the assault, but Chris tweeted, "I didn't do anything." The phone incident is definitely not one that is that serious, although you shouldn't be taking people's phones out of their hands. But the second accusation was actually proven to be false whenever they looked at the security cam footage and said that it is apparent that the alleged incident regarding Chris Brown is false. Says there was no way that he could have touched her because his section was roped off and he had heavy security surrounding him. Witnesses stated that she was trying to rush him and was eventually removed from the club. The same year, he pled guilty to assaulting a man in Washington, D.C. outside of a hotel. He was charged with a misdemeanor and then he spent 2 days in jail for punching the man in the face. In 2015, during a video shoot, Chris Brown forcibly ejected a woman from a bus when she refused to give up her phone, which was then broken. She filed a police report for third-degree assault. On January 2nd, over New Year's weekend of 2016, a woman accused Brown of punching her in the eye and stealing her phone after she tried to take a photo with him at a private party at Las Vegas Palms Casino Resort. Immediately following the accusations, Brown posted and deleted an Instagram video that denied his involvement, saying that she was probably too ugly to get into the party. On May 10th, 2016, Chris Brown allegedly attacked his then manager, Mike G, who would later sue him. He claimed that Chris viciously attacked him, shutting him in a room and punching him in the face 4 times, and that he was left hospitalized. Chris Brown, however, claimed that he was just mad that he got fired for stealing money and that the accusations were false. But then following these accusations, his tour manager, Nancy Gausch, was cursed out by him, causing her to feel unsafe and to quit the job. She stated that he was irrational and that he was high on drugs and referenced what he did to Mike G and that he would do the same to her. And then in 2021, Chris Brown was accused by another woman for punching her after they had gotten into an argument. Karrueche Tran was born on May 17, 1988, making her a Taurus. She's a native of Los Angeles, California, and was raised by her mother and godmother. She attended Fairfax High School before graduating from Birmingham High School in 2006. She's known as an actress and a model and met Chris Brown at a styling job in 2011. Now, she explained the relationship as a roller coaster from the very beginning. Red flags. She would go on to accuse Chris of not only punching her in the stomach, but also shoving her down the stairs. And then just like Rihanna, she went on to get a restraining order against him in 2017. There was a lot of evidence against Chris Brown, which included text messages and phone calls where he threatened to beat the shit out of her and also to kill her, which lines up exactly with what Rihanna said that he told her that he was going to do to her. Then when she started dating Victor Cruz, she had posted a photo of the two of them together, and Chris Brown went on to harass her and fill her comment section with all of these comments and just continued to flood her comment section with comments on her new boyfriend, which reminds me a lot of the current situation right now with Kanye and Kim. Chris Brown spoke up and said that all of her claims were only being made to tarnish tarnish his reputation. All accusations against him are meant to benefit her career. When she took the witness stand in Santa Monica, she said that Chris Brown menaced her after they broke up, demanding that she return diamond rings and other gifts that he had given her. She told him that they were her property, and then he turned aggressive. He said, "I'm not being nice to you anymore. If I see you out in public again and I'm there, I will make you hate me even more." He also sent a text message that said, "Bitch, I will beat the shit out of you." She also claimed that he told a few people that he was going to kill her. But again, regardless of all of the evidence against him for doing these things to women, being incredibly violent, incredibly explosive, and incredibly dangerous, he gets away with it. His fans continue to support him. You will even see them saying, "I don't care." You will see them saying, "He could do that to me." It's incredibly toxic and incredibly harmful. And then that brings me to the new accusations that are against him that he is just brushing off as, every time I have a new album coming out, I get accused of something new. None of this is proven. This is all alleged. Now, Jane Doe in these documents says that she fears for not only her career, but also her life. Jane Doe in these documents is described as a professional choreographer and music artist from Los Angeles. This alleged incident took place when Jane Doe was invited to a yacht that was owned by rapper and producer Diddy. She said that she was talking on FaceTime with her friend when Chris Brown took her friend's phone and told her that he had heard about her music and urged her to head over to Diddy's home on Star Island in Miami as soon as possible. She claims that she was offered drinks by Chris after she arrived and that she felt a sudden and unexplained change in consciousness. She became disoriented, physically unstable, and started to fall in and out of sleep. During the time she was feeling this way, she was led to a room where Chris Brown allegedly undressed, and this is where the essay took place. She said she felt half asleep while he was removing her clothing, and she asked him to stop, which he did not. After he had finished, he allegedly sat up, said that he was done, and told her that he wanted her to call him about her music career. Jane Doe then contacted her friend for help because she was too disoriented to leave herself, and her friend showed up, picked her up, and helped her come home. Jane Doe expressed that after this incident that Chris Brown continued to try and contact her for weeks following it. One of those times was to demand that she take a Plan B pill. She saw him again in January of 2021 when he invited her over to listen to some music with the producer and another girl, and then she went back again in August. While she was there, he apparently was trying to get her to go up to the room with him, which she did not want to go, and he ended up getting really loud and irate and visibly upset. Now, this was the last bit of information that was posted about this situation, which was 2 weeks ago. There have been no updates. The only thing that Chris Brown said is that, "Do you see a pattern with this? This pops up every time I have a new album coming out." As I was working on this video, there has already been a new update about the situation. There has been a second woman that has been in contact with police over Chris Brown. She and a friend were invited to meet Chris Brown at a Miami Beach hotel suite when Chris Brown approached her and put one of his fingers in her mouth. His finger had a white powdery substance on it, and she blacked out for several hours, waking up in the suite without her friends or her phone. She filed a report with Miami Beach police after reading about the previous lawsuit that was filed by the other Jane Doe. Both incidents are currently under investigation, and once it's complete, it will be up to prosecutors to determine if charges could be filed. This is not just a situation where someone has been accused of numerous things that have time and time again been proven to be false. This is a situation where somebody has been accused of things that time and time again has been proven to be true. He hasn't only physically harmed women, but he has threatened to take their life. That does not mean that what these women accused him of doing in these situations, that doesn't mean that they're true, but I don't think that it should be ignored. For instance, if he contacted this girl on numerous occasions, for instance, telling her to get a Plan B pill, there's probably phone records of this, and there's probably some sort of record or receipt or something in her bank account showing that she did in fact make this purchase for the Plan B pill that she took. There's also her friend that showed up to pick her up when she asked for help that could testify that she was acting like she was drugged and falling in and out of sleep. There are numerous ways that this can be investigated into, so I am very interested to see how this whole situation plays out, because as of right now, we obviously don't know what's true or false, so I can't say that he did do these things. But what I can say is that there is enough against him that he did do. A lot of these women that are accusing him of these things, they are women who have their own careers. Like, I've seen some people that like say you get clout or something from coming out and accusing a celebrity of doing these things. Are you kidding me? Who would want this type of attention? A lot of times when people come out and accuse somebody, it ruins their career. The amount of money that Chris Brown has, the amount of support that he has from his fans, the amount of people that he has backing him, it's a really scary position for any woman to be in, to come out against Chris Brown. I'm really curious what you guys think in the comments down below. I only knew what had happened with Rihanna. I didn't know all of this, but when I found out about everything that he did, I knew that I had to make this video because there aren't very many videos on YouTube about it. There also aren't very many people publicly talking about it anywhere. Anytime you do see somebody publicly talking about it, you just see flooding of his fans continuing to brush it all under the rug like it's not a big deal. If anything else comes out about these accusations with him right now, I'll do a video on it if you guys want me to, so give this video a thumbs up if you want me to continue to talk about whatever comes out with this situation. I'm really curious if anything will. I currently have another channel that I would be really thrilled if you guys would head over and subscribe. We're going to have all sorts of videos over there, a lot about my pregnancy, because currently I am 26 weeks pregnant, things that are going on in my life. There's going to be vlogs, there's going to be bake with me's. I will have it linked down below, but you guys can also search up more Kyla and it should pop up. We're going to have tons of different types of videos over there, and I would love it if you guys would subscribe and go hang out with me over there as well, but I don't want to keep you guys for too long. So let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll be seeing you guys soon for another video.